What's up, guys? Ivan here from getivan.com, and in this video we're going to be going through my guide to video streaming equipment for the PC. So I have had this particular setup for recording videos for a few years or so, and what I'm going to be recommending to you guys is the same composition of my setup, but then it's for current and up-to-date equipment as of December 2020. So in the last few years, surprisingly, the equipment hasn't changed very much. It's changed a little bit, but some of the stuff I'll be recommending is basically the exact same as what I've been using for the last few years. So kind of an opportunity for the guys in this industry to maybe make some improvements, but there's also something to be said for if it works, then it works, right? So we're going to go through some of my links here. I'm recommending Amazon products, but you can get these anywhere. I don't have any kind of affiliation with Amazon, unfortunately, but it's easy for everyone to get these products from Amazon, so that's why I recommend it. So first thing, this Nexigo webcam, and like I say here, anything with the 1080p HD quality is going to be fine. The main thing is figuring out if the webcam comes with software, because I have to have a particular kind, like my internal software for this Logitech camera is right here, and if I'm not able to have this open and to click the gain button here and have these particular white balance settings and, exposure control, then every single time I turn my photography lights on and start the video, I look like a whitewashed like ghost monster or something. So the main thing is that it has software. It's really hard to tell what will have software, so it's kind of an assumption that they come with the right kind of software. But I purchased another webcam years ago for about $50 that did not come with the kind of software that was ideal. And so for that webcam, I tried to use it on Xbox, and I used yellow snap lights, and I created this sort of jerry-rigged snap lighting system, and I tried to control the lighting externally a little bit, and that worked, but it was very, very hot, and it was not ideal. So on your webcam, buy something around $100. This one, as you will see, is about $100, and it even has a coupon now for being able to you can save 20% somehow. And I did research on all of the main cameras these days. Actually, this market has changed a bit in that it's a lot cheaper to get a 1080 webcam, but they're very sneaky in that they don't tell you that they don't really make it clear which is best in terms of features. So this one is special because it's 1080p and 60 FPS. And then it comes with some auto focusing features. Some of them are kind of sneaky. They don't necessarily indicate if they're auto focusing. So be very careful about this if you decide to go in another direction that's maybe cheaper. I would recommend, of all the things to not skimp your money on, spend around $100 on a webcam. A level up from this would probably be some sort of digital camera, DSLR camera or something like that. So that's kind of like the next level for me, maybe in years to come. But I'll probably be fine with just using a regular webcam for some time. I might even buy this one at some point. This webcam I'm using is a Logitech. I want to say it's 920C or E, and it's still out there, but I don't recommend it because the software feature was difficult to figure out. And for some live streaming features, uh, I have to have this open, and sometimes it considers the camera to be active when this is open. And so there are some services that I can't use properly with this kind of thing. So just a warning and a disclaimer there. But this is one of those things where you're going to have to buy it, and hopefully it comes with it. If you do that and it doesn't work out, let me know. I'll make an adjustment to my recommendations. But this would be what I would get these days in terms of newest technology. So lighting, we've got softbox lighting, portable photography lighting. Those are essentially the two choices you have. This softbox lighting is the exact same thing that I have right here. You can't see them. They're these huge light boxes. They're about this big, and they sit at the corners of my desk. And these light bulbs, they have been active for 4 years or so. So really, really awesome that they have stayed working. And if they ever go out, I can just go to a local photography shop and take the bulb, and they probably sell it there. I'm not sure about that, but if you're in a major city, there are photography shops, and they tend to sell these kinds of products. So you might even go there to find some unique lighting solutions. But I would suspect them to be a higher markup. It's hard to say. Anyways, there's a lot of products like this on the market, and they just sort of like generically branded. They look the exact same, but they have different branding. So you might be able to get this cheaper over at AliExpress, but it probably wouldn't be much less. It'd probably be like $40 or $30 or something. I mean, you could maybe save a little bit of money, but you'd have to wait a month or two to get them. So just be aware of that. Keep that in mind. Now, if you don't want these to take up so much, and they have switches on them, so that's a big deal because I can just reach over and switch them rather than having to plug them in necessarily. So this isn't the same fake brand, but it's the same exact product basically. Um, if you don't want something taking up so much room, then you can maybe try some of these portable photography lights to put on your desk. My when I had my mom actually asked me about my setup, and she took my advice and bought a cheaper version of the microphone that I have, and some of these kinds of lights. And it's actually really surprising. I've seen them. They're super, super bright. They're not nearly as bright as these. These soft boxes are better because they create an environment of light. In the rest of this room, it's actually quite dark. But with the dark contrasted background and these light boxes, it saturates this region with light. Whereas these are more of like kind of like the spotlights you see rednecks have on their truck or something. They turn them on, so they can, if you're not careful, they could possibly give you a deer in the headlights sort of look. But I just wanted to put these out there as an option because they are a little bit cheaper, and that might work for you depending on the circumstances of your environment, your room, your office space, etc. I still recommend these, but it's also very bright white light. So if you don't have camera control, these are going to make, and this doesn't hurt my eyes, by the way. These soft boxes are very pleasant. Um, but yeah, if you don't have camera control, it's going to make you look like crazy whitewashed. So, anyways, let's move on. So then we have these adjustable backdrops. So these are for the purpose of creating this background. Some people like to use green screen type of thing. I think that is extremely tacky. So I'll leave that up to you. But I recommend black bed sheets because it's soft, it's dark, and if you ever needed to take them down, you could easily clean them. But I bought two black bed sheets and put them in between, and then I just closed them. And behind that area is actually my desk, a long desk that I built from Home Depot materials and I just have my scraping servers back there. And I can also store other things. I store other things on top of that big desk, but I don't actually have this set up. So, but I'm aware of it. I've used these kinds of setups over the years. My mom is actually a professional photographer, so I'm familiar with these. These are very easy to set up, very light. This is the one thing I don't like about them. They're very lightweight. So, I mean, that's kind of good, but you got to make sure they're stable. You got to make sure that they can hold what you're doing. And sometimes you might, one of the things I don't like is that these legs might stick out. So you have to position them in such a way where you're not going to walk past them and like maybe trip over them. Because if you kick one of these legs, the whole thing could just go, it's super lightweight aluminum or whatever. So just be aware of that. It appears to have a lot of clamps and a lot of supporting stuff and things that come with it. Now, like I said, this is not what I use. I actually went to Home Depot and I fashioned like large segments of PVC pipe together, and I had them bracketed into a wooden beam in the ceiling. So if you didn't want to go my route and have a permanent fixture in your environment, then this would be the better way to go. It's probably even possibly cheaper. I'm not sure. So anyways, there's that. And then here's some bed sheets. I'm not sure why these are this price. I felt like I paid like $40 for my bed sheets over at Walmart. So these seem like they're cheaper. They kind of have all the right keywords. So you basically just need two king size bed sheets, and then you can have this effect going on. If it's against a flat wall where you're not going to be moving the sheet, then well, actually, you still need two of them because they're not wide enough. I don't think that they're wide enough to cover the fullness of this area. Let me look. Yeah, they're not wide enough. You need two of them. Um, okay, so moving on there, that's not too bad. So then we come into the mic, and let's see. You need to make sure that you grab a microphone cover uh, foam windscreen. Make sure to grab one of those. There is a difference between the flat one and the one that goes over the mic. I recommend the one that goes over the mic. It's a little bit easier. Now, I've noticed with this recommendation that I made, it's not in stock and it keeps getting pushed back. That could have something to do with coronavirus and China shipments. I'm not really sure. But the point is, you need something with the keyword condenser microphone. And so as long as you purchase something that is above $60 or so, you'll probably be okay. Just make sure that it has a little mic stand, like it's able to fasten on like this right here. I don't know why I'm making positions with my hands. Like make sure it has some sort of stand so that you can put it on your desk. Like you can't actually see mine in the video, which is great. But it's about like, see where my hand is here? This is actually where the microphone is, roughly. So it doesn't need to be. That's about a foot. It's maybe a little bit more than a tiny bit more than a foot, and that's really all you need. You see people with big long sticks, and it's like right up in their face, like, and that'll give you that pretentious radio broadcaster sort of quality. But you don't really need that. I mean, if you want that effect and you're going for the podcast feel or whatever, then I suppose you can do that. But it's not really necessary. You don't need a stick. It doesn't need to swivel in and out of your thing unless you're doing voiceovers or something. Yeah, make sure to get a foam thingy, foam windscreen here. So they don't always come with a foam windscreen, which is silly. And if you're looking at one that it was not in stock, just get something at least $60 or above. There is something to the price. In the vicinity of $100. When you go beyond that, you got to be really careful because some of the products may only come with XLR inputs, which is MIDI controllers. So more for the music and really high-end professional studio recording stuff. And if you don't have a MIDI interface, then you're not going to be able to connect your microphone to your PC. If you get something too high end like these down here, maybe that these probably have both of them. A lot of them will have both the USB connection and the XLR connection, but some of the high end equipment may only have the XLR connection. So just be cautious when you're purchasing anything about over about $150. The one that I have is actually a little bit older, and I think it's not this one. It's something like something like this. It looks more like this. This is an older model. I'm not sure why they're selling it for so much, but that's the one I have. But it was basically in the price range of maybe this or possibly this one. This is the professional line of the Blue Yetis. I looked at a lot of microphones recently in a second wave of research, and I can't believe that like the field is just not super developed at the low end. A lot of the mics that they sell have some bizarre advertising for some of the features that kind of are questionable. So again, this is a field where I actually looked, I think, at these over at AliExpress, and you can get some of the same products that they sell for cheap here. So be cautious about purchasing a cheap product. You want to purchase something $60 to $100 at least, and it's hard to spot things that aren't super generic on Amazon. So when you can find a company that's named and appears to have a good number of reviews and has the right keywords for condenser USB microphone, then that is going to be a safer choice. So, and in terms of the features, don't worry about it too much. It it's essentially overkill as it is. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of microphones. Just don't forget to get a windscreen and make sure it has a stand. Now, in terms of studio monitors, this is the keyword you're looking for: studio headphones, studio monitors in particular. These are essentially a keyword for higher quality headphones, basically. These are some really cheap ones. I purchased these actually for my mom to use with her setup. I did a lot of research on this in the past, and found these are like the cheapest that you could get of a certain level of quality. I've actually put these on, and they're really comfortable, and the sound quality is quite good. It appears to have an XLR option, which I don't recall. I don't remember it coming with an XLR connector. It does come with this little connector so you can adapt it to music equipment or perhaps your MIDI interface. These are the ones that I have at the moment. These are Fostex, and they're actually pleather. I've had these for years, and these were $70 studio monitors that were marked down on clearance for $30 over at Guitar Center. So if you go to a local music shop like Guitar Center and you look at their section for some of this stuff, you might find some clearance items, and might save a little bit of money. These surprisingly, the pleather has not begun to peel, but like almost every pleather item I've ever owned has peeled within 2 years. I've had a couple office chairs that have peeled. My wallet is made of pleather and it's peeling right now. I need to get a new wallet. And so I also made recommendations for non-pleather items. Here's the cheapest I could find of non-pleather, because it's not even a keyword. Like, it's kind of weird. And you can see it's sort of a cloth type material. So that's probably better. Like this office chair I purchased, I spent a lot of money on this office chair. It's $300, and I got this from you can't see it really in the video, but I got this from Staples. This is a Tempur-Pedic office chair, and the arms are rubber and the back is cloth. So I got that because in the long term, if you're spending $200, every 2 years on an office chair, it's just excessive cost. It's really kind of unnecessary because there's nothing wrong with the cushion. There's nothing typically wrong with anything else functional about the chair, but the pleather peels like clockwork. It peels. So and you can get a lot more comfortable seat cushions, and that's a kind of another topic. But I just wanted to make a point that there's something about getting cloth with some of these electronics that you physically interact with that is much better. And then I think the best that I could find for the best price, the seemed to be the highest quality for the best price that was not pleather, were these Philips headphones. And Philips is a major brand, so when you see a major brand that's making something that's a little bit off color to the industry, that you kind of go, okay, they understand, like, pleather is comfortable, but it's trash, very poor quality material. I might even buy some of these at some point. Kind of almost looks like they might be wireless. No, maybe not. Anyways, those seem to be the best that I could find in looking at these recently for this post. Now, that takes us through the microphones and headphones. Now we've come to recording software. So the faster choice, which I'm recording this video with now, as you can see up here in my browser extension, is Screencastify. So unfortunately, this video has gone on a little bit long, but you just click this browser extension, and then you can kind of configure some things, and then hit the go button. And when you hit stop, it pops out this Screencastify utility that automatically uploads the video into your Google Drive that you've connected to the account. Once it's finished doing that, which is actually quite fast, you can directly import that video into a YouTube channel that you choose to connect to the app. And when it uploads from Google Drive to YouTube, it does it in a matter of seconds, like less than a minute. It's super fast, and you can upload it as unlisted, private, or public. And it's a lot easier to do it all in one go, and to have the ability to do some of these utilities for excuse me, for screen shares than it is to use Open Broadcast Studio. So Open Broadcast Studio is, I would probably consider it the king of streaming tech. Um, it's way more flexible. You can do full screen types of viewables with higher definition using this software. You can create custom sequences under these sources, and you can actually create a hotkey to switch between sources really quickly. So you can switch between very unique types of sources, whether it's full screen or partial screen and camera in the corner, or a specific browser tab or a specific program, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can do a whole lot of things that are, you can create a sequence for your recording that is very unique in this software. You have more control over the audio and other types of recording quality sorts of settings. So it's better, but it's a little bit more complicated, and it's a little bit more cumbersome and a little bit of a waste of time. So I prefer, for what I do, just to continue using Screencastify. But in some cases where I require a full screen recording, perhaps, or if I wanted to edit the video, then OBS would be better. You can edit Screencastify, obviously you can just still save it in the same manner, but it's actually a little bit to record and stop, and to maybe record things in steps. OBS is actually a little bit faster in that regard. So if you wanted to record things in steps and then combine those chunks later on in your editing software, OBS is a bit faster, a bit more convenient for that purpose. Okay, so that's Screencastify and OBS. It depends on your use case. There's also you can just generally use live broadcasting in YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or whatever your platform is. They all have, the major ones have live broadcasting features, and I've used them a little bit. I used to use the Facebook one more, but since they updated it, it won't work with my setup. And but it's kind of better in that you can, prior to the recording, you can configure a variety of things and then go live, whereas you kind of have to record and then do your on page and your description configurations and things like that. So it's got some advantages, but there's also a risk. If you're doing technical videos, then you might show some sensitive data that you really can't do anything about. But to be frank, I mean, I don't, if I make a mistake in a video, I usually stop it early. And 90% of the time I just don't make mistakes, and just move on and post it up anyways. So this is a pretty great option. I might actually start using YouTube Live instead of Screencastify, because it might be better. It might be a better way for me to go myself. So something to think about. Anywho, moving on here to editing software, we've got Shotcut and Inkscape. So Shotcut, let me find Shotcut here, is a free open source program that essentially complements OBS. So if you're using open broadcast software and you're going to piece things together and do things in steps, open broadcast software is one of the best free solutions that I'm aware of. Open source program that works with, I know it works with Windows. I'm sure it works with, it probably works with some other platforms. I'm not sure actually. But I've used this occasionally, and I actually have a video tutorial. So if you check this YouTube link, you can watch my tutorial on how to use Shotcut. And I also have a tutorial for Inkscape for creating thumbnails. Inkscape is open source, and it's available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and I've been using it for years. I used some other programs in the past. Everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to be doing graphic design, I got to get Photoshop. Like, no, you don't need to get Photoshop. It's a waste of your money. You just need something free and open source like Inkscape. It's very easy. It's very lightweight. So while it's running, it doesn't take up a lot of RAM. It's very simple to use. I provide a tutorial in this YouTube link for how to use Inkscape. There was actually a point when I was ranking for Inkscape, how to use Inkscape tutorial type of thing, just purely off of that video that I made. So it's a quality video. It's really simple and easy to go through. and it'll allow you to make logos and to make little icons and your thumbnails for your videos if that's something that you want to do. But I also recommend don't waste your time. Don't waste too much time on thumbnails. I talk about that in here because unless your video is already successful and already getting traffic from internal SEO, then you're just wasting your time with thumbnails. I used to do that a lot, and I used to create these thumbnails that had this bright red background and this text and things like this, but that actually took more time than some of the other stuff that I was doing, and it was just a waste trying to figure out how to get things to fit. Now, in the future, what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on doing half the video of just a generic picture of me so people recognize it's a video by me, and the other half is just like a few words. And I'm actually going to do it vertically so that I can put more words. Most likely, is what I'm going to do. Most people will do it left to right or right to left. But again, it's difficult to. It takes time to fit words in that manner because you're fitting them top to down. So just be aware that if you try to make thumbnails, it's going to take you some time. And my recommendation is you don't need it. There are some big YouTubers who don't make thumbnails at all. Like they just pick an automatically generated one from the video, and that really works fine. So just do that. And then if you find a video that's really successful, you can just go back and improve your thumbnail in the future. Finally, we got this YouTube SEO and keyword strategy. So I use keywords everywhere. I actually started using this recently. In the past, I literally just kind of used Google Ads and kind of made a guess, or maybe just did a Google search and did a guess on some long tail variations. And then at some point, I started using Morning Fame, which is a YouTube keyword research tool. And I've talked to the guy who owns this. I think his name is Nico. He's a really nice guy. He's really, really focused on his stuff, and I think he does a good job. But I'm just now getting into really building my YouTube channel. As you can see, there's really not a whole lot yet, but I'm getting there. Every time I post a video, I get new subscribers. Like in the last week, I've posted 2 videos, and I've gotten like 10 subscribers. So every time I post a post and I do the on-page SEO, it ranks, people find it, and I get new subscribers. Anyways, but you can use a tool like this, and it'll give you recommendations, and it'll kind of give you estimates on traffic and things like that. See, it gives you kind of scores, and tells you if there's if they believe that based on the algorithm there's legitimate traffic in that field and if it would be good for your channel and things like that. So it's a pretty cool utility. It's really cheap. You can only sign up through a referral link actually, and mine is in here on this term. So if you use that, I really do appreciate it. Much respect if you do. That being said, you don't need it. Keywords Everywhere is super cheap. It's like $10 for like 100,000 credits. Let me see how many I have now. I got like 68,000 at the moment. And basically you can do something like do a search, and it'll pop up whether you're doing a search in Google or in YouTube. Keywords Everywhere can detect the search you're doing, and then it'll show you relative search volume, and then it'll have a section showing trends from Google Trends or whatever, and then it'll show you some of the long tails. You can click this button up here, find long tail keywords for whatever you typed in, and that can kind of give you some ideas. So this is a really cheap tool, really cost effective, super scalable, and something you could definitely use in a very quick manner for your video stuff and things for YouTube or wherever you're trying to get your SEO done. For the most part, it's fairly logical. In my experience, I maybe do one keyword search, and then the rest of it is sort of logical. I try to fit it within a character count, so I use something like character countonline.com to make sure that it's under 50 characters. Below 50 is when the title will appear on mobile devices. If you get above 50, it'll get truncated on mobile oftentimes, and on desktop it's below 60. Sometimes it'll let you be below 70, but generally below 60. Technically on YouTube you can do a lot more characters than that, and it's still, I guess, procs for SEO purposes. So you could do the most important keywords on the 50, and then an extra, bonus keyword on the 60 and the 60 or 70. And then you could do a ton of other keywords on the trailing if you wanted to do it that way. I prefer not to, because I kind of have this feeling of CTR, click-through rate, on a more concise title. So my goal is for this video was, okay, what's the keyword? Video streaming equipment. And I did a search I did a search on video streaming, I did a search on streaming equipment. And then I figured, I saw the keyword for streaming equipment for PC. So that seemed like, okay, there's some volume there. This is relevant to what I'm doing. And then I just put video and guide in there, and and it fit just about perfectly. So that's kind of how I approach it. And those are the tools that I kind of use a little bit in terms of SEO. But the main thing is that once you do your video, it's all about on-page SEO. So you want to fill out your title. You want to make sure you put a keyword in there, like I was just showing you. You want to put a little bit in your description. Put a link somewhere. Put some hashtags. You can do up to 3 hashtags on YouTube. Make sure to fill out the tags. You can get 500 characters, I think. 500 characters. I think it's 500 characters or 500 words, or it's not words. 500 characters, I think, of tags. And so on those tags, you do want to make sure that you load those up with keywords, because that's, to my understanding, that's basically the power. That is the main thing that is ranking videos. I've seen some videos out there where guys are talking about like, there's pros and cons to tags. I'm like, what's the con of using tags? Like, in my experience, that's what's giving you rankings and giving you traffic. And then it's ideal to vlog every day. Like I said before, every time I make a video, I gain subscribers. So if you vlog every day, if you make a video every day, it's even better. Like, if you only make a video once a month, you're not going to gain that much traction. And then here I talk about, get your videos embedded on other sites. Don't be afraid to use some of those gigs you see out there on microservice sites like Fiverr or Conquer or Legit or SEO Clerks or any of these places. Don't be afraid to use those ranking videos that talk about using embeds and things like that, because they do have a benefit. I personally have some some tactics that I can use for programmatic embedding, and it does improve the rankings in YouTube very quickly. YouTube is probably the fastest form of SEO out there. Press releases rank really quickly, and some other trending and current news SEO strategies rank really quickly. But YouTube ranks faster than anything. Like, once you do the on page, you will see your video rank within the hour. It'll rank somewhere. It may not go all the way up to the top, but it'll index and it'll rank to some position. And then let's see here. Make sure that you always put your most important link at the very top of your description. So in a YouTube video, do I have a video open here? Here's some synthwave. I listen to this stuff sometimes when I'm working on stuff, and you see this region is visible without hitting show more, and he's got subscription, support, and mixer channel. So I typically will put, click here to learn more about such and such and such. And that first link, I think, has special juicing properties, but it also has a higher click-through opportunity, I believe. And so I would recommend putting something there that is really relevant. Like, if you're trying to create a backlink to a page, or if you're trying to create a call to action, or some activity on some link from the people watching, then this is the best place to do that. And also, if that location, if you link to a location wherein you're embedding the video, like in a blog post, I've noticed I've had things rank in Google that have reciprocal video linking, just by making a post and putting the reciprocal link. So that's another big piece of advice that I can give. And that's basically it, guys. I appreciate you watching, and if you got value from this, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I do get notifications on replies to the comments now. So if you leave a comment, I'll reply, and we can have a conversation there if you need. The average total cost of this setup is roughly $450. Might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more, depending on some of the choices you have for some of the equipment you can purchase. That probably sounds like a lot. My recommendation would be to finance it on a credit card if you can. If you can, low interest credit card possibly. But it's a little bit expensive, and maybe you don't need every single piece of it, but at least get a webcam and a mic for a couple $100. The rest you can kind of suffer through. There are some free solutions, but at the very least, it's a couple $100. And I should probably put a range here of 200 to 450. So yeah, I encourage you guys to get something going, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.